Okay, now we're recording. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Film Optics Podcast, brought to you by the Drive-In Podcast Network, where we discuss film, TV, and everything pop culture related. I am your host, Christian, and I'm joined by my co-host and my friend, Devin. Today, we're going to be getting into a lot of news topics today and ending and topping everything off with our WandaVision. I can't do this. But anyway, we're going to top it off with our WandaVision season or episode 4, which is, I think it's called we Interrupt This Program. So yeah, I'm going to play this one more time, but not on the actual live stream. This is just going to be for the podcast. So let's get into it.
All it is, Miles. A leap of faith.
This is the way. The truth is, I am Iron Man.
Tells me when you'll feel like this.
All right. Take 2. Wow. I was like, wait, we started live streaming and I forgot to hit the record on the audio. I was like, that button doesn't look red and it doesn't look like it's recording. So apologies for the weird intro, but yes, this is the Film Optics Podcast, where we discuss film, TV, and everything pop culture related. You can listen to our podcast on platforms around the internet, and make sure to follow us on Instagram, Twitter at Film Optics. That is optics with an X. I'm just so like I did it, but like it really proves how crazy this week has been. Like I was just ready to get into it. I'm like, hold on. We need to get like the actual good audio for the audio version of our podcast, not just the janky version that StreamYard pumps out. So yeah, we're going to be talking about a lot today. We have around 8 news stories before we jump into our WandaVision episode 4 review. I keep wanting to say season 4. I wish there were 4 seasons of the show, but
Who knows?
yeah, who knows? I mean, we have to wait and see, I guess. But Devin, how are you doing today?
Doing good. Nice, clean shaven.
Yeah.
It's been a while.
Ooh, there you go. I like that. I like that a lot.
Had a root canal yesterday.
Did
so
you? Ooh, how was that?
It wasn't too bad.
Yeah.
It's been causing me some issues for the past few months, so it feels better now.
That's good. I'm glad to hear it, man. I got the short haircut again. I'm feeling nice. My head's super cold. It's a great time to be alive. I'm just really glad that I caught that recording. I'm sorry. I keep going back to it. I'm like, I would never forgive myself. I'm like, this thing is literally staring me in the face and there's a record button. And I was like, I should probably hit that. I was like, wait, stop all production. We got to do this again. But yes, today we have about 8 news stories. As I said before, let's just dive straight in to the news stories here. So first up, I guess I'll just actually no, you take this first one because I want to take the second one. I'm very excited about the second one. So
We got some Black Widow news. It's been a while.
Ooh.
Black Widow 2021 is confirmed to stay exclusive to theaters and has also been clocked in with a runtime of 2 hours and 13 minutes. Solid runtime.
I'm not okay. The runtime is solid. It's about 13, 16 minutes shorter than what was it, Wonder Woman. So there's always that. But the exclusive to theater part, I'm not feeling
We gotta
it.
save the theaters.
I'm not feeling it. I'm not
gotta
feeling it
save
right
'em.
now. I'm not.
We
All
can't
these.
rely on Reddit to save all these theaters.
You want to know the model of the GameStop is? Power to players. That was literally insane. But yeah, for this, I mean, of course, I wanted to come to theaters, but I love to give people the option because we might be okay with going to the theater every once in a while. Like if I can go to the theater to see it, I will see it in the theater. But there's a lot of people, a lot of families out there who have, multiple children and whatnot, and they can't go to the theater in order to enjoy these kind of experiences. So I like to give them an option as well. I mean, I commend Disney for doing this, but, and Devin and I talked about this early in the week, it's just inconsistent. This is mainly for the listeners out there, but it is more inconsistent because of the whole, let's put Raya and the Last Dragon, on the Disney Plus Premier Access and in theaters, but not for Black Widow. And Devin had said, well, it's a bigger budget, and I get that, but this is very inconsistent how, like, you're going one way about one movie and one way about another, because there's no way in hell that Black Widow is making $1 billion in the theater. But I just don't know.
Well, here's my train of thought. It's inevitable at this point that going forward in the future, streaming alongside a theater release is going to be the norm. It's going to be what we're used to, what we're going to have as an option. But I just feel like to do that this year, like right after or in the middle of this pandemic, that would just tank theaters so much farther than they already have been tanked. So I feel like the timing is just so bad for that to happen. Like, I feel like theaters should have some time to get back on their feet. And if they aren't getting exclusive rights to these movies, big movies, then they might just keep sinking, and who knows what could happen at that point.
Adapt and survive, my friends. The world's changing.
We gotta save these theaters, man.
The world's changing. I love that line. But yeah, I do see where you're coming from, and just, I don't know. Everyone's calling HBO Max for, the super craziness that's going on. I'm like, they're kind of making a little bit of sense right now. Just saying. But I understand both sides of the coin. I just lean a little bit more to one side over the other because, of course, I wouldn't want theaters to completely disappear, but I don't think theaters would completely disappear because, I mean, going to the theaters back in the day, like way, way back in the day, used to be like an actual event that we, would go to, people would dress up and go to the theater. Now it's, any clown can just walk in, but I just don't know, like outside of blockbusters, how much revenue do theaters like generate?
That's the thing, and this is all unprecedented. No one knows how the day in, day out theater streaming release is going to work, and
yeah,
if it really hurts the theaters more, then who knows if they can survive it.
Yeah, I mean, there's no, like, because it's like when we saw Wonder Woman at home, I was actually kind of happy about that. Because it wasn't that great.
Been a bullet dodge.
Yeah, for sure. But it is what it is. But let's move on here to our next news story. We have Harry Potter, the live action TV series, in early development at HBO Max. Very, very excited for this.
How did it take this long for a Harry Potter TV series?
Seriously, though, this comes from the Hollywood Reporter, by the way, for all you listeners out there. But yeah, I'm excited about this. Like, whatever your feelings are about J.K. Rowling, honestly, just put them to the side because it doesn't even matter. I can enjoy a piece of content without, necessarily agreeing with whoever said what. Honestly, to me, life's too short to be even thinking about half of that stuff. As of, what she said, because it's like, we're getting a Harry Potter TV series. I'm very, very excited for this. Like, just overall, this is great stuff. I mean, I think it's going, there's been a lot of talk, like, like the movies are great, they will always be a part of my life, but I feel like there is room for improvement. I mean, the first go around was great. And honestly, it was only a matter of time. I mean, Lord of the Rings is also making a TV series. It's not based off of the actual 3 books, but it is based off of the rise of Sauron and what have you. And it's like, I think it's about time. I think Daniel Radcliffe even said in an interview a while back that there probably will be another remake. And it's kind of inevitable. But this is Warner Brothers. Actually, they see what Disney's doing with their properties, their Star Wars properties, expanding the universe. They see what they're doing with Marvel and whatnot. And it's like, hey, like we have Game of Thrones, a crap ton of Game of Thrones content coming out. We have Harry Potter, we have Lord of the Rings. We're going to be doing all this great stuff. Let's expand the universes in our own IPs and, keep these franchises alive. What are your thoughts?
They can also take some notes from Disney as far as Star Wars goes, because they don't have to make everything so super connected.
Yeah.
Like they tried to with the movies to a fault. They could expand and make it more of a new story.
Right. Make some better DC content, maybe. No, I'm just kidding. Just the movies. The TV shows are good for the most part, the ones that I've seen. But yeah, I do agree with you, Devin. It's there's nothing wrong with taking the page out of your competitor's book. I mean, we see it all the time with Xbox, Nintendo, and PlayStation. They're always at each other's not throat, but they're always in each other's like blueprints, like when it comes to a lot of things. But I think this is a really good idea. I'm very, very excited for this, like overall. So I'm going to give it a nice little applause. There we go. Yeah. Congratulations, HBO or Warner Brothers. You've been you've been on the right track as of lately. I'm not going to lie. You guys have been doing some really good stuff. Static Shock's coming to HBO Max, I think midway through February 15th. There's a bunch of old school cartoons on there now. Like let's get this stuff out there. It's good stuff. So you want to take this third story of the week?
We got some Tomb Raider news here. Ooh. Classic Lara Croft. Netflix has announced a Tomb Raider anime series as well as a Kong Skull Island anime series.
That's
maybe not
sweet.
Kong, but Skull Island.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, is it really Skull Island without Kong, or at least
There were a lot of monsters on that island. Who knows?
That is very true. Definitely got to rewatch those movies again. Getting ready for the new Godzilla versus Kong.
And there's also some separate Tomb Raider news. We have found out that the sequel to the average forgettable Tomb Raider movie that last came out is now being written and directed by Lovecraft Country's own Misha Green.
Yeah.
So that's some nice flair to throw in there.
Yeah, written and directed. I'm very excited.
A couple of those Lovecraft episodes were very Tomb Raider-y, so
yeah.
It's a good fit.
I'm just waiting for that show to drop on Blu-ray so I can buy it, to be completely honest. I loved it. I was like, absolutely, yes. Like, first episode just had you. There's only like 1 week, or one, not week, but one lesser, the information episode where everything has to be explained. I think it's episode 2, but yeah, I'm just waiting for that to drop. But yeah, congratulations.
That's the juice the Tomb Raider movie series needed to get it going.
Honestly, dude, I'm very, very excited from this. And of course, this story comes from Deadline, for any of all you audio listeners out there. So, we're very excited for this. It's Netflix has a lot of things in the works. They are always, will always be the king of new original ideas. I think there's an Assassin's Creed show coming. We're getting season 2 of The Witcher. We have Skull Island. We have the Resident Evil series, I think it is, that's coming out. Like they're really diving into the pop culture, and I think when it comes to video game related stories, as we're seeing with The Last of Us on HBO, it's going to be it's probably the best way to tell these stories, because video game movies just really, really suck. I mean, personally, I don't think a lot of these stories should be told in that fashion, but hey, money talks. So it's like, it is what it is. I don't know. So guess we'll just have to wait and see. So speaking of Skull Island animated shows,
yes,
we get Godzilla versus Kong. But before we get into that, Devin, are you Team Kong or are you Team Godzilla? Because I've been meaning to ask you this for a while, but
I'm Team Martha, because they're obviously just going to team up and defeat a bigger, badder guy.
Yeah.
No point picking a side when they're just going to.
Oh, I'm picking a side. It's Kong all day.
Based on that trailer, it looks like it might be Mecha Godzilla.
It did. It really did. Like one Leo from Geekly Goods, shout out to him. He pointed it out. I was like, oh my God, I didn't even realize that. And then I watched Weekly Planet's video, the trailer
Yeah, I watched
breakdown.
theirs too.
And I was like, ooh, that's some pretty interesting stuff going on there. So I'm very, very excited.
But it does. The trailer makes it look like Kong's coming through with that
Oh,
axe hammer
oh
he's
my
got,
God.
made out of Godzilla's backplate.
Possibly. Everyone's like, oh, it's Godzilla. You know, he's a radioactive lizard dinosaur. He's got atomic breath. I'm like, I mean, this is King Kong
And
we're
it
talking
was
about.
a pretty generous growth spurt for Kong, I'll have to say. He's
Yeah.
definitely grown over these
Past few years.
decades.
Yeah, because he wasn't as big in Skull Island. So that was kind of, yeah. I mean, hey, it is what it is. I'm more excited for it. Full disclaimer: we may or may not be risking our lives to see this in theaters, but we're gonna try. Honestly, if nobody's there, I'm gonna suit up. I'm gonna be super, careful. I mean, this is just whether if it's good or bad. This is a movie you have to see on the big screen. Like,
Exactly.
I don't even care if I'm the only person in that theater. I will just sit there, enjoy it. Because, I mean, I could watch it at home, and maybe I will, maybe I won't, depending on if my friends want to watch it, if they haven't seen it yet. It's like, yeah, we can get around. But, like, first experience has to be in the theater. Like, that is your first experience of any movie. That's just something you cannot take back. There's so many times where I've wished that I can just erase watching either like Lord of the Rings or Harry Potter or Game of Thrones from my mind just so I can experience it all over again. So, yeah, we got some. So
March 31st.
yeah, I got pushed back to March 31st. Godzilla versus Kong, back on track.
I think I saw it's still keeping the March 26th theater release date.
Yeah,
maybe?
yeah. I think theater release date is still the 26th, and then
So
the
So if we
HBO.
risk our lives, we can get some early content out.
Hey, we did it before with Tenet. We'll do it again. It's all gonna be there. We're gonna be just fine.
Maybe
Yeah.
we'll be vaccinated by then. Who
Early,
knows?
risking our lives for early content for the pod. Hey, I mean, we might get it earlier than that. We really don't know, so we just gotta wait and see. But yeah, so this was the rumor that Godzilla vs. Kong was moving because of Zack Snyder's his cut of Justice League, which we actually found today is going to be releasing on March 18th, which is a Thursday. Very weird, but hey, I mean, I guess that's kind of cool because everyone thought
I don't want to watch it on a Thursday night.
I
4
know it's like
hours.
can you just
That's
put it
gonna be
on.
That's gonna be a whole weekend slog.
This is too much, bro. Hey, if it was episodic, I'm just saying we can watch 2 and 2. Like, hey, Thursday night you can watch like an episode or like the first 2 and then finishing off on Friday. But no, we gotta. He's gotta make it this 4-hour long adventure. Well, the only 4-hour long movie of anything I'm watching is if there's a bunch of build up backstory for a franchise, which you can kind of argue between BVS and Man of Steel, but not really. It's just not there. Like even if Avengers Endgame is 4 hours, is it a long time? Absolutely. But there was like 23 to 25 movies building up to that point, the end of an entire saga.
It was
So that
very
makes
earned.
sense. It was earned. If it's Lord of the Rings, you bet your ass I'm sitting there for Lord of the Rings. But like I've said before, extended editions, it has it split up into 2 discs. I can watch 2 hours of it, come back. They pace it to where it's like, okay, we're going to end here. We're going to start back up here. It says, oh, to continue the story, please turn over to disc 2. So, excuse me, there's that. So, whew, on a Thursday night, though, like, really? We better pray we get some screeners, I swear to God.
Yeah, give us some time.
Please do. But yes, so Kong, to reiterate, the theatrical release is still coming out on the 26th. It'll be going to HBO Max on the 31st for 30 days only. That's the only catch with these HBO Max dual releases for theaters. They're only on HBO Max for 30 days, for the first 30 days, and then they're exclusively in theaters, which is another good point. But, and also Zack Snyder's Justice League will be launching on March 18th, which is Thursday. So like 48 more days for all that goodness. But Devin, let me get into this next one really quick.
This is all you.
We got some Game of Thrones animated series in development at HBO Max. Oh, there's just so much. I'm glad that they are expanding the universe, because this within the books, even though the series isn't technically finished, there's just so much like lore you can go into. There were so many side plots within the books, and it's just there's so many prequels that you can make, and it's like I feel like they really can build around the season or the 8 seasons that we got. And honestly, in a way that maybe Star Wars is a bit, inconsistent, but that happens with every single big franchise. But it's like, I think this is a great idea. And it's an animated series. Like, I want full hand-drawn animation. I don't want any of that CGI crap. I mean, CGI is not bad, but for Game of Thrones, it's got to be animated. Like Japanese animated style, I'm telling you. It's going to be fucking awesome. Like, that's what I'm hoping for. And but there's like a few little animated things, like extra bonus discs through Game of Thrones that you can watch, but it's more still image animation. But obviously, Variety kind of reported on this, that the series is actually based on George R.R. Martin's Tales of Dunk and Egg, which is a really great book. The series kind of goes through the adventures of Sir Duncan, that's Hall Dunk, and young Aegon V, Aegon Targaryen, 90 years prior to the events of the Song of Ice and Fire, which we know as Game of Thrones. So and we also have the House of the Dragon coming out in 2022. So that's going to be really awesome. I feel like Beth Harmon from Queen's Gambit, when she's like a little kid and she's like addicted to those pills. She literally takes this big bucket of green pills and just literally takes a chunk into them and ODs all over the place. It's crazy. But that's the only thing I'm giving away for that, in case you haven't watched it already, Devin.
I have not.
It's all right. It's amazing. I mean, the way that I'm describing it pales no comparison. But all right, let's get into our 6th news story here. Devin, you want to do the honors? I know you love HBO Max as much as I do. So
we got some Max news.
Ooh.
HBO Max has reached 37.7 million subscribers, including 17.2 million that are activated. I believe that means they transferred over from HBO
to HBO Max. Yeah, I think so. This comes from Hollywood Reporter. It's kind of weird when you're talking about their numbers, because it says the release of
confusing.
Yeah. It says the release of Wonder Woman 1984 helped drive the domestic HBO Max and HBO subscribers more than 41 million. Okay, let's see here. Okay, so HBO Max has now reached 37.7 million total subscribers. That compares to the 28.7 million subscribers, including the 8.6 million. Jesus Christ, this is so weird.
A lot of numbers.
It is a lot of numbers. So combined with HBO and HBO Max, they had 41.5 million U.S. subscribers at the end of 2020, compared to the end of September, which was around 38 million. This is a lot of numbers, but I do know that obviously HBO does not have the numbers that the subscription numbers that Disney or Netflix has. Disney has a crap ton of back catalog that people know and love, and of course they have Marvel, they have Star Wars, they have all of their old legacy titles as well. And it's really hard to compete with Disney when they literally out of the gate just had pretty much everything available. HBO Max has taken a bit of time to get there. It is still one of my favorite streaming services, just because between Netflix and HBO Max, I mean, if there's nothing big on Disney Plus I really want to watch, I just don't go there, just because there isn't that mature content. But that might be changing soon. But this is kind of it's weird talking about their numbers, but people need to keep in mind that, yes, their numbers are more on the low side, but they also have to keep in mind that HBO Max is not released internationally at all. And they just added support on towards Fire Stick and Roku TVs, things of that nature. So, I mean, they're getting up there, but the service is definitely worth checking out, especially with their business model that they're doing for this year with the whole dual release for the theaters. Because it sounds like they have a plan. I mean, they've definitely had to shell out a little bit money. Could have been handled a little bit better, but I don't know. What do you think about this, Devin? You're the numbers guy, so.
I don't know. They're making their way up.
Yeah.
The big guys are still on top, but
yeah, it'll be really interesting to see. I'm just it's cool to see subscription numbers, but at the end of the day, I really don't care too much about them. Like, it's really cool to see them hitting milestones, but I kind of just enjoy the content for what's on there. You know, and if you really do enjoy some kind of content, I really do implore people to start buying physical media. If there's a show that you really adore, aka The Office, that was on Netflix for freaking ages, you can buy it for like the entire season for $100. Think about all the money that you spent each month paying for Netflix just to rewatch The Office like 3-4 times a year. You can pay $100 and you watch it whenever you want. It doesn't even have to leave your shelf unless you want it to. So there's always that. Just had to plug that in there. But you actually want to take this next one too, because I know you're more.
Oh, it's been a crazy couple of
Like
days on the stock market.
You're the Wall Street guy. You're the numbers guy. I'm just gonna let you take over.
I have a very, very minimal knowledge of investing in the stock market. I dabble here and there, but it's just been crazy what's been happening these past couple of days. So we all know GameStop, our old love and joy, where we spent many hours as children getting ripped off and talking to strange employees for hours at a time. But yeah, GameStop was pumped up from people on Reddit, and it was very strange and random. But they also...
You got that GameStop money though, right?
I did not invest in GameStop, and I do not plan on doing it.
I wish I would.
I actually considered AMC because, as you guys know, they moved on. They didn't move on from GameStop, but they added AMC as one of their targets for a stock that was going on the way out. It was really low, and they pumped it up, and now AMC is back to a pre-pandemic high on Wall Street, which just is so insane to think about.
Yeah,
because they have not done anything this year or last year.
Literally nothing whatsoever, man. It's like, holy crap! But
there's definitely some positives that could come out of this. Like AMC, they could be taking advantage of this newfound swing in stock price. They could take advantage of it, and hopefully, I think they already have gotten some investors in to help them survive long term, so they're not bankrupt anymore.
Yeah, because it was really interesting to see where AMC was going to go with all this. Like, to be completely honest, I was like,
AMC is the one we love the most. We got to get that.
We have
AMC Premiere. What was it called?
The AMC A-list. We have to give it on that train if they still offer it. I don't even care if it's.
Offer it.
What's up?
It was too good of a deal. They probably can't afford to offer it.
Maybe I honestly, dude, if they give me more of an incentive to do that and it's safe to go back to the theaters, that was like a godsend. It was so nice, like way better than any other movie pass I've ever used. Like best $20 I've ever spent every single month. It was, oh my gosh, I'm praying it comes back in some type of form because that was great. But like you said, it may not even be offered right now, but we can dream. So I'm not entirely sure, but hey, it is what it is.
Dreams or maybe nightmares. We got some casting news here.
You can take this one too. I don't give a fuck about this.
The Borderlands movie has officially cast Kevin Hart as Roland.
Ooh.
And people are not happy because he is a short king and Roland is not. it's just a strange casting. It doesn't really make too much sense.
It is very, very
Kevin
strange.
Hart playing the uptight soldier type character, you just can't see it.
Because it's Kevin Hart. We all know him. We all love him. It's just I can't take him. I can't take him in a serious role. This is Adam Sandler all over again. I can't take that man in a serious role. I just can't. I haven't cared about Adam Sandler since I was like 15 years old. But like even seeing him in Uncut Gems, like there's parts I liked about it, but overall I just didn't really care for it. It's like I don't know. But I mean, Borderlands is, we've played all the Borderlands games throughout the years. It does have that funny, quirky feel to it. So maybe it's the right choice. I mean, is this live action?
Yeah.
Oh boy. All right.
The question that I have is, if they're casting Kevin Hart as Roland, who are they going to cast as Salvador?
Or Lilith.
Who is shorter than Roland? It's going to have to be Peter Dinklage or something.
Yeah, might have to.
Or Danny DeVito.
Ooh, that could be interesting. If they make it interesting, that'd be cool. So this is a film.
They already cast Lilith.
Oh yeah. So do you think this is going straight to streaming, or do you think this is going to hit the silver screen?
Who even knows when it's coming out?
Yeah, that's true. I mean, yeah, there's been so many movies out there that have, we've heard a lot of talks about, but it's like, even going through the news this week, I was trying to figure out, some big news stories, and it's like, there are some there, I feel like we've covered the bigger ones, but there isn't just like, it's small little things like, Static Shock will release February 15th at HBO Max, or the whole Army Hammer thing, or Jay Alicro, whatever his name is, will be cast as Tim Drake in Titans Season 3, which I'm still looking for a reason. Somebody out there, please convince me that there is a reason for me to sit down and watch Titans, because I do want to watch it, but I'm not sure if watching the first 2 episodes, it's going to be worth watching for Season 3. I really don't know. I'd rather just spend my time watching Daredevil like I've been doing. But hey, it is what it is. But our last news story here, just a really quick reminder for actually a little bit of gaming news here. If you have a PlayStation 4, or even lucky enough to have a PlayStation 5, your PlayStation Plus games for February have been revealed. This comes from the PlayStation blog. So, oh my gosh, just go to it. Thank you, Google. We have Destruction All-Stars, which is exclusive to PlayStation Plus users on PlayStation 5. And we also have Control Ultimate Edition coming to PlayStation 5 and PlayStation 4. And we also have the Concrete Genie, which I've actually heard is a very underrated game, coming for PlayStation 4. Of course, if you only have a PS4, you only be able to reap the benefits of playing Concrete Genie and Control Ultimate Edition, but you can still claim Destruction All-Stars. You just won't be able to play it until you pick up a PlayStation 5. So Devin has a PS4. He can enjoy Concrete Genie and Control Ultimate Edition on his PS4. He can still claim Destruction All-Stars for PlayStation 5 if he decides to upgrade. It'll be there waiting for him in his library. For me, I get to enjoy all of them, but I'm kind of glad. The whole Destruction All-Stars thing was weird because, like, originally that was a game that was like, oh my God, it's like super dark in my room. Sorry about that. It was it was supposed to be $70 for the game itself, and I was like, that's really a steep price. But see, like, PlayStation's doing that with all their new exclusives. Hold on one second.
Turn on the lights.
All right, that's better. So PlayStation's been doing that with all their new exclusives for PlayStation 5. I think Returnal is also $70. It's like a rogue-like game, but I'm like, not so sure about that one. Not for $70. I'm sorry, I can't do it. I cannot pull the trigger on that. But yes, those are going to be your games for PlayStation Plus starting on February. I can't find it February 2nd is when they come. Yeah, February 2nd. So congratulations. PlayStation wins this month, I feel like, but honestly, I feel like Game Pass just wins overall. But I mean, it's pretty cool that I'm excited. I'm interested to see this Destruction All Stars for sure. Not too crazy about Concrete Genie, but I might give it a try. But anyway, Devin, are you ready? For all of our listeners out there, of course, people watching on YouTube, we're about to get into our WandaVision Season 1, Episode 4, titled We Interrupt This Program review for you all. So, Devin, I'll just get right into it. Yeah, it's time for a WandaVision review. The reason why you're all here, because, yeah, that's pretty much the reason why everybody's here, I'm assuming. But, Devin, another fantastic, amazing, jaw-dropping, unexpected, bone-chilling episode. I wanted to get your initial thoughts before we dive into spoilers for those who are listening at home, because it did release today as of this recording on Friday, January 29th. But I wanted to get your initial thoughts really quick.
They switched it up on us. Everyone was expecting the same formula. We were expecting the 80s decade episode this week. It's not what we got. We got a bit of they peeled back the curtain a little bit for us. We got to see what's really going on in the real world out there.
Yeah.
And we got some nice returning characters to brighten things up.
I knew that was Jimmy Woo, by the way. I knew that was Jimmy Woo, and I knew it was him. What's up?
That voice of his.
At first, I'm like, it kind of sounded like Captain America. I'm like, no, it's not him. I'm like, it's probably Jimmy Woo. And it was just off a hunch. I'm like, yep, it was Jimmy Woo. But yeah, I totally agree with this new episode of WandaVision. They really do give you the other side of the coin when it comes to these last 3 episodes. Of course, we've been going through the 50s, the 60s and the 70s, and then we have we interrupt this program. And I love the way how it first starts off. You know, it comes.
The opening scene is so good.
Yeah, it literally felt like I was watching like an MCU movie in my own home. It really did. That's something. The quality of these Marvel TV shows are like it is insane. The changing of the aspect ratios, that's always a nice little touch. But it's always a nice little things. And speaking of little things, Jimmy Woo finally learned his card trick.
That was amazing. I didn't even see it when I was watching, because if you blink, you literally miss it. But
yeah,
he's got his little ID and he does the card trick around his ear, and he's been practicing for 5 years now.
Yeah, he has. But this episode, it's only around 30-ish minutes, around maybe 33 minutes, but
it went by fast.
Yeah,
for me.
Well, I wanted to ask, what do you think of these shorter episodes? Like, do you enjoy them? Do they want you craving more? To like, I myself am personally enjoying them, but I wanted to get your take about that.
I'm definitely enjoying them, but obviously, I'm not opposed to longer run times.
Yeah. I don't know. It is weird because I mean, I guess this one is a little bit on the longer side, where it's around a full 30 minutes. But it's like it just sinks you right in. Like it gives you everything that's been happening with Wanda. You know, she's out in Westview, New Jersey, and of course, we're going to start kind of getting the spoilers here for all you listeners out there. So if you haven't seen it yet, you know, pause and come back and listen to us. So yeah, we're just going to start getting straight into it. It was very, you know, the whole Westview, New Jersey thing. Monica Rambeau. It starts off.
Monica Rambeau.
Yeah.
She got snapped and then blipped and didn't know what happened.
Didn't know a thing.
And her mom died during it. Oh,
that was terrible. It's like you see, you know, the first scene is, you know, she's in a hospital and, you know, she's going to the doctor. She's like, oh, where's my mother? Where's my mother? And they're like, you know, she died 3 years ago. It was 2 years, you know, after you disappeared. And it's
the idea of the blip is just so fascinating. It's one of the best parts about Far From Home, the way they explained it with the student PowerPoint type thing. It was hilarious how they did it, but just seeing it from all these different angles, like how these people just kind of appeared and nobody knows what happened or how it happened or why it happened. It's just so interesting to see it from different angles.
Yeah.
Like she just appeared. Like she thought she was just taking a nap in her mom's hospital room, but it was 3 years later or whatever.
Yeah, I guess that's how it happens for most people, because we see the hospital in a very chaotic state, and then it kind of, she goes to Sword, which her mother ended up founding the organization, and this kind of goes all into, Jimmy Woo ties in with the FBI working with Sword, and it's like, hey, with these missing persons reports, and when you see the oh my gosh, the cops, and they're like, oh, there's no such thing as Westview, even though there's clearly a sign right there that says Westview.
And then the cops are like, where are you guys from? And the cops are like, Eastview.
Yeah. So we find out that, obviously, as we suspected all along, this is Wanda creating this
energy field of
alternate reality.
Sitcom town.
Yeah. The sitcom. It's just very, very. It's so eerie, and that's what I love about this show. Like, there's always some big elephant in the room that you don't really know about, some huge looming threat, and it's like it just gets you. And it's, I guess you can kind of call it's more of like a thriller suspense. Obviously, wouldn't call it more horror, but I would say it's more suspenseful than anything. And it's, we see Monica Rambeau, we see where the helicopter comes from, the beekeeper, how Monica just kind of goes into the force field herself. And that's kind of, where, oh, I'm Geraldine. And they're saying, oh, well, Geraldine doesn't have a home. And it's like she kind of just appeared out of nowhere. And yeah, she literally did. So it's like, man,
you get to see what was happening behind the scenes.
Yeah.
The mystery, it's been building up for these first 3 episodes, and then boom, we're here. We're ready. Halfway through. We kind of know where it's going, but there's still plenty of mystery left.
Yeah, I've got 5 episodes left, and
I don't know if you noticed, but they're hanging up all the pictures of the people in the town, the characters, you can say, in the show, and they had IDs for all of them because they were real people who were just in the show, except Agnes.
Yeah, Agnes
had no ID. They don't
or
know
Dottie.
who she is.
Dottie didn't either.
They didn't have her picture up, I don't think.
Oh, okay.
So there's definitely some mystery out there.
So Herb was there. Herb
was there.
Yeah,
they had
okay.
Herb's ID. They had everyone else except for Agnes and Dottie. So who knows what kind of witchcraft they're up to.
I mean, they did say Dottie, is the key to this town, but
also Agnes's husband. What's he up to?
He's weird. He's real though. No,
Is he?
no, I'm not saying. I'm sorry. I'm thinking of Dottie's husband, Agnes's husband. Yeah, we have not seen Agnes's husband.
She always mentions him. What's his name that she always says? Like Ralph.
Ralph.
Oh,
It's gonna be a gas.
Could it be Quicksilver? Evan Peters?
Why does it feel like this man? It's whatever. I've accepted at this point, but
because he's already been cast. That's why everyone talks about it.
Yeah, that is true.
In some kind of role. We don't know who yet.
That is true. I'm not entirely sure. I love theorizing about it, but sometimes I love just letting it play out. And of course, we also see the altercation between Monica Rambeau and
she yeeted her out of this city through 3 walls.
3 walls.
Red power.
Yeah.
She finally shows the red.
She finally snaps.
Yep.
And we also see, she's like, why did you say that name? Why did you say Ultron?
That look she gives is so creepy.
Yeah. It's like, Monica's like, shit, I fucked up so bad right now. And those are trigger, as we said before, Wanda's hasn't had the easiest life, post or pre-Avengers. So it's, with her brother dying and then everything happening with Vision. And we actually see the real Vision there for a hot second, because we also have Darcy who comes in to the episode. And
she was a nice burst of energy this episode.
Yeah,
nice
I really like her. Yeah.
That's the thing about the MCU. It's just all connected so perfectly. Like you never would have thought that you would have Jimmy Woo and Darcy Lewis come back for a WandaVision TV show, because they, prior to this, had no connection to Wanda or Vision, really. I mean,
Yeah.
Darcy Lewis was in the Thor movies. Jimmy Woo was in the Ant-Man movies. They've never come into contact with these people, but they just make sense and they fit for what story they're telling here.
Yeah.
That's why it's so perfectly interconnected.
And Monica Rambeau, you know, we saw her when she was a kid in Captain Marvel, and you know, we've seen that character development since then. So that's, she hasn't gotten her powers yet, but
They're so good at putting all the puzzle pieces together.
yeah,
I don't know how they do it.
yeah. I think Task on Twitter was saying, because they were talking about cosmic radiation, and some people are thinking, oh, like that's how maybe the mutants get their powers. I'm like, well, it could happen because
They have a lot of options for how they're getting mutants in here.
yeah. I mean, like
They could just say it was because of the snap. That's an easy way to do it.
that,
Snap
yeah,
could have caused
a disruption or
the
something.
mutant gene to come out of certain people.
Oh, that is true. Yeah, because I think Kevin Feige has said that they haven't figured out a way per se to introduce them, but I'm sure it's either going to be some kind of multiverse. It might even happen Doctor Strange
It's either
multiverse of
the
madness.
snap or Wanda. Those are the two theories I'm down to.
Yeah.
Snap causing it or Wanda causing
Yeah,
it.
because even with Wanda, that could lead into the multiverse of madness, and that could, you know,
And
happen.
we might be having a Doctor Strange appearance in the next few episodes. Who knows?
Honestly, I wouldn't put it past. It makes sense.
I think it's going to happen.
Maybe that's the big drop that everyone's talking about, but I guess more people are expecting him to be there than not. So maybe it will be Evan Peters, or I'm not entirely sure. But I just thought this episode was great because, you know, we see it's
It was a nice change of pace because while we enjoyed the first three, they were starting to get formulaic, and we were just kind of guessing that this would be the 80s episode, and next week would be 90s, and then the 2000s. But they mixed it up and they changed how we view everything right in the middle.
And yeah, I love it how we're pretty much getting their perspective on everything, and it's like, oh, okay, it's almost as if, you know, we are Darcy and we are Jimmy Woo kind of looking in, because they are viewing these as actual episodes.
Yeah, Darcy's got the chips, and she's like, "Ooh, I'm getting into this."
Yeah, she was like, "Bring me like an old school TV," and they're like, "What?" She's like, "Trust me," and she's able to figure out what Wanda is kind of culminating in this bubble of hers, and it's, oh my God, it's very, very interesting. And I actually tweeted earlier today, I actually think that between Loki, WandaVision, and Winter Soldier, I think Winter Soldier is going to be, when I say the weakest, I mean it's going to be more by the numbers. It's not going to take as many risks. I feel like it's just going to be more of like the Winter Soldier 2.0.
We've seen
espionage.
so little of it, though.
That is true.
They have not shown much at all.
Yeah, and like, of course, you know, I can always be proven wrong, so there's always that. But with WandaVision, I'm really freaking digging this show, and it's like, I like how each episode is only around maybe 30. If they want to go 40, that's fine for more like the latter half episodes. But it has been a fantastic ride so far, and there's so many questions, and that's, they're telling the story and a really, they're pacing it out so well, because I am assuming probably next week, you know, we will go back into the 80s, but maybe they'll do a 90s. I saw a few people, I think Amanda on Twitter was saying that, like, if they don't do a 90s episode and they miss out on the whole Full House, you know, thing.
They're definitely doing that.
Yeah, like, because Elizabeth Olsen is their, I think she's their younger
sister.
Yeah, I know she's her sister. I think they have a brother as well.
I don't know if they're younger or older.
I think she's younger. But
I mean, she definitely looks younger.
Well, certain things can speed up the aging process if you're not too careful, but we won't talk about that right now. But was there anything else you wanted to dive into? I know I've been a bit of a chatterbox this episode.
I think we covered most of it. I just love how Jimmy Woo got his card trick down.
The man with the plan. No, that's character development. Yeah, I'm really excited. I mean, I don't know what next week has in store. You know, we can talk about theorizing this all day, but we have a podcast to end on here soon. So that pretty much concludes our season 4 review of WandaVision. Let's give our scores really quick for this episode. I'll just go first. I honestly, like, between the 4 that we've gotten, like it has literally gotten better and better with each individual episode. I think this is the best one thus far, because between episodes 3 and 4, because, you know, we have that weird looming threat. You know, the first 2 were a little bit more giddy and whatnot, and it's introducing us into the world. But this one's great. It's, you know, we finally see what happens to Geraldine, and, you know, even Wanda herself was kind of shocked by, you know, I think she has Vision's body with her. Like, she has to have.
That's going to be so creepy, because he looked creepy as hell when he died. His eyes were gray, and he was all gray.
It would be way worse. It would be even more creepy if he was like an actual live person and she has like a corpse, like a live corpse, but, you know, it's more of a synthetic robot corpse, android corpse. But yeah, it was so creepy to see, because I think she has his body for sure. Like, I definitely think so. Other than that, it's like, why else would he appear that way? Unless she's, you know, she's kind of this in that weird in between state. But anyway, I digress. I'm gonna give this a 95 out of 100. What about you?
I'm gonna go with a solid 90. It was just like the perfect refresher, like
Solid
palate
90.
cleanser.
Yeah, it really was. I'm like,
It kind of reset everything. It kind of set us up for where we're going, showed us where we were.
yeah.
We're just ready to go.
Yeah, we're ready to go. And then March is going to be packed with content. But before March, of course, we have February, aka Black History Month. And Devin and I will be, our first review of February will be Malcolm and Marie. That'll be coming out on Netflix, I believe, within the next week or 2. So we're going to have that up for you guys. Hopefully this coming up week, either like Monday or Tuesday. Still got to figure out a few things there. But yeah, that's going to be one of our next reviews coming up. And we actually also have our Earwig and the Witch review that Zach, Leo, and myself recorded about a week ago. That'll be dropping on Sunday, January 31st. So this will probably be out on Saturday. Or no, Friday. And then, yeah. But so those are going to be the, you know, we're talking about some things. Me, Zach, Leo, and I have been talking about doing a lot of Studio Ghibli reviews since we kind of kicked things off with Earwig and the Witch. Really interested to see my points on that one. And I would really love us to do a MonsterVerse like recap leading up to Godzilla vs. Kong, because I think that would be a lot of fun. Or maybe if people are up to it, we can do a Zack Snyder. Devin, come on.
No, thanks.
All
4
right.
hours is enough.
We'll focus on the MonsterVerse. At least that would be more enjoyable. Possibly, you know, like, we'll see how everyone feels about that one. But yeah, any last words before we close out here, Devin?
This is the way.
This is the way. So that's a wrap for today, everyone. Thank you all for listening, and make sure to check out the other shows on the MusicCityDrive-In.com on the website, and subscribe to our show so you never miss an episode. That was Devin. My name is Christian, and we'll see you guys in the next one.
Peace.